Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus, and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. So in this video, we are going to open up, I believe, exactly 100 cards, but definitely at least 100. However, most of these cards, actually, I believe all these cards are very cheap. And I wanted to make this video to highlight the fact that there are a lot of great old school Magic staples that are very, very cheap. The reprint policy that a lot of the old school formats use makes it possible for a lot of these reprints, especially from revised fourth and so on, for these cards to be had a full playset for a lot of times under $1. So, and also just wanted to show what kind of cards you can get. So in this video, like I said, we'll be opening up 800 cards. Most of these cards fall within that explanation that I gave of full playset of 4 for less than $8. Every now and then, depending on the card, it's more than that. Right? So I definitely have several cards that are more than that, but the majority would fall within that frame. All right, so let me go over on the overhead cam. So this one, TCG Direct. All of these are from TCG Player, but this one was from TCG Direct, where sellers have a deal specifically with the company. I'm not sure how it works, but basically the sellers have this logo next to their store name, and I purposely got the majority of cards so that it could be in one package to avoid many packages coming, right? Before I've opened up like 10 or more packages in one video. So as I'm learning more about the system in TCG Player, I'm kind of taking advantage of that whenever possible. Here are 2 other envelopes also from TCG Player where I wasn't able to find these cards within the sellers, TCG Direct sellers. So still some had to be brought in from a different source. But here, there's basically, I believe, 94 cards, 90-ish cards, because I have 2 and 4, I believe, here, right? And I know I bought 100 at least. Let's see. Okay, so this one I believe I'll open first. This one should have 2 cards only, and then the other 2 are here. So let me open up this one, and I'll do the a lot of times I do well, actually every time I've done the up close pictures, I'll do that as well with my different camera angle, but I don't want this to drag out endlessly. So, and also I refer to the information that I received from email, or just from, in this case, the TCG Direct TCG Player website. I have an account, and it keeps a list of my transactions, right? So I'm going to be using that to keep track of what I get, what I should be getting, and the prices I paid. And I'll be referencing that, showing it on the video. Although I'll be starting to blur out certain things as needed for privacy reasons. So here, 4 Bad Moons, 4th edition, I believe. Yep. So I'm just trying to find it within my account on TCG. So here, this is this transaction here. So here you'll see how many. I basically got full playsets of. I believe I got a full playset of everything. Every now and then you see 1, but I ended up getting 4 of them, or 2. But then I just compensated in one way or another. But these were all cards I didn't have that I wanted to have. Actually, maybe not didn't have. I know I have a couple of terrors. I know I have a couple of pestilences, paralyzed, but I wanted a full playset. And since they're so cheap, I figured just get all 4 that I need, so that the look is similar within all 4. So here, let's see. Oh, this is, like I mentioned, from the additional seller for 4th edition, and for, I believe everything is near mint, or should be. We're going through here. I'm seeing near mint, 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 near. Everything should be near mint. Doesn't mean it is. So for this one, Bad Moon, each card 4th edition is, I got it from $3.42. So this is one of those cards that's over $1 that I mentioned, but it makes sense. Very powerful card. And so basically near $15. Well, with the shipping, basically $15. Actually, it says so right here, $15.65 for a playset of 4th edition. If I had got it in revised, it would have been a lot more. So it came in a envelope with this type of outside cover, which is definitely not as thick as a top loader. Well, not even close, but it's still some protection, but mainly because you cannot fit 4 cards in a top loader, or at least they might be, they are very cramped, and maybe you don't want to risk it. So let's see, 4. Yeah. All right. And definitely TCG player. I've been burned by them a lot. Only if it's like a high cost card would I, complain much. Actually, I haven't. Maybe like 1 or 2 times I've actually complained back to the seller, but I never return anything. Just tell them, please be more accurate with your description. I never return anything. And I never felt the need to. Yeah, but in this case, so it's hit and miss. In this case, I think this seller was very accurate. I'm happy with this transaction. I'll be putting the pictures up, the close-ups later, so that this video doesn't drag on too long, because I know I have that habit. All right, so now this one, I'll leave that one for last because that's only 2. I need the 2 from here first. Oh, there's 94 cards here. So the TCG bubble mailer, receipt, and then 2. Normally comes in a long plastic envelope, but it didn't. I guess it didn't fit. So everything here with $4 sales tax, no shipping, because the order was big enough. I got free shipping. $64.45. Without the sales tax, it'd be like $60.45. So $60. I was able to get all these cards. Quantity, it says 98. Okay, so I want a little bit over 100 then. So 98 here, 100, and then 4 there. So this is everything total is 104 cards, if this is accurate. All right. This one is to the side. I don't want to mix it up. So what I'm going to do here is just quickly go over the cards, put them in piles, and then I'm going to compare them to the list, because I want to make sure I don't skip anything, right? Because so many cards, a mistake could have happened, and maybe 1 or 2 cards may have been missed. Right, so it came in these little plastics, not much protection, honestly, but I understand it's almost 100 cards. So 4 greeds, Fourth edition. Two Will of the Wisp here. So let's see. I should be getting two more. Fourth edition, 4 ATOGs revised. So I got all the full circle of protections. I have a few in my personal collection, but once again, it's different. You know, some of them are beat up and so forth. So I just, and these are so cheap, just figured get them brand new. So they all had four clones revised. These are all revised. Greed and Will of the Wisp, it was way more expensive to get them in revised. As I said before, I like revised. Some other people avoid it. Me personally, no. It's a fine set for me. This one had a little smudge for Drain Life, for Evil Presence, for Gloom. One of them is a little washed out, but I know there's some issues with consistency. For Curd Apes, so I'm still looking for that too, unless I missed on my order. 4 mana short. So this one I actually had to get one from each four individual sellers, because not one seller had more than one. But I got them from TCG Direct sellers, so it was all included here as well. 4 Neither Shadows, 4 Paralyze, 4 Pestilence, 4 Particle Sorcerers. All these are still revised. So I'm running out of space here. 4 Raised Dead, 4 Sinjir Vampires, really cool card. 4 Terrors, 4 Unholy Strength with the pentagram, 4 Within Trust. Ooh, I do not have 4 Will of the Wisp, and 4 Felden's Canes. So 1, 2, that was all the cards. So let's compare with the list. Oh, I'm wrong. Because I remember there's 2 missing. The other 2 are from here. So I forgot. So then let's open this one up. So this is correct. Because I forgot I had 2 cards left to open, which is the other 2, should be the other 2 Will of the Wisp, and regular envelope, receipt, little cardboard, and then the other 2 Will of the Wisp. All right, so good. Yep, I see 2 of them. 4th edition as well. Looks good. All right, so the one from the other seller, I'll put behind the 2 I got from TCG Direct. All right, so we're gonna go over the full list. Well, we already know I got the 2 from the other seller, just so we see that listing as well, just to be thorough here. So from this additional seller, I got each 188, and I got 2 of them. Now for the big order here. So let's go run through it in order here, so I make sure I didn't skip anything. 4 ATOGs, 4 Circle Protection Black, and also I should check also the set revised. 4 blue revised, so black, blue, green, so black, blue, green revised. Red, white, 4 red, 4 white. Clone revised. These all look, at least from quick glance, they look pretty good. So 4 Control Magic revised, 4 Drain Life revised, 4 Evil Presence revised, 4 Felden Kane's Chronicles, 4 Gloom, where is it? 4 Greed. Gloom was revised, Greed is 4th edition for them. So I'm gonna put Greed off. 4 Curd Ape revised, 4 individual mana shorts, all from revised. Let me check. Yep. 4 neither shadow revised, 4 paralyzed revised, 4 particle sorcerer revised, 4 raised dead revised, 4 Sinjir vampire revised, 4 terror over here to the side revised, 4 unholy strength revised, 4 Ufden troll revised, 2 Will o' the Wisp, and then the other 2 here. So where's the pestilence? I must have missed it. Up there's after paralyze, I missed the pestilence. So paralyze. Let's see. After paralyze, it was pestilence, then prodigal sorcerer, right? But for pestilence revised, there it is. All right, so let's, and then the 2 Will o' the Wisp, the other 2 from the other center. We already know the price. So let's look at these. So ATOG, there's a very powerful deck, an ATOG deck in old school. And imagine you can get 4 mint, near mint ATOGs. So this one's a little bit over $1 for 4. So 29 cents each. But basically $1. So that's pretty nuts there. So Circuit Petition black, 13 cents each. Blue, 14 cents each. Green, 20 cents each. That makes sense. Green and red, 20 cents each. Circuit Petition white, 13 cents each. So it's like almost just 50, 60 cents. And you get a full playset. Near mint from revised. That's nuts. For clone, these are 170 each, but still just 170. Clone is a great card. 170 each in near mint. For control magic, each one is 66 cents. I was pretty surprised by that. So each one is less than $1. For drain life, 19 cents each. So 4 for less than $1. Evil Prince is slightly over $1 for 4, 26 cents each. Fallen's Cane, under $1. 24 cents each, but this is Chronicles. Gloom, 25 cents each, $1. Greed is $1.06 each, right? So that was $4 and change for 4, and this is 4th edition. Curd Ape, so Curd Ape also another very strong creature in old school, 20 cents each in revised. So for under $1, you can get 4. So mana shorts, these are expensive. They're over $2 each. So I got one for $227, $239, $259, $270. Neither shadow, also they're expensive. Each is $2.23. Paralyze, super cheap. For each one is 17 cents. So definitely under $1 for full playset. So Paralyze is also another card that gets used a lot for, especially in mono black decks, right? So other than, of course, destroying the creature, which is a great way of dealing with something, but if terror is usually the best way to deal with something, or drain life, I suppose. But specifically for creatures, terror is the way to black deals with them, and it can target artifact or black creatures. So this is where Paralyze can come into play. You can still somewhat either take one of their black or artifact creatures out of the game, or at least makes it harder for the opponent to use consistently. So 17 cents each. Pestilence, 24 cents each. Particle Sorcerers, this is more for fun. I think it's just a cool card. And of course, Timmy the Sorcerer's namesake here. 24 cents each, under $1. Raise that, very cool black card. Gets used a lot in old school. 15 cents each. Send your vampire. Each one is $2.23. So little under $10, you got full playset in near mint in revise. So still pretty good. Send your vampire, very strong black creature, used a lot in old school. Terror, 4 of them, 29 cents so each, so slightly over $1 for full playset. Holy Strength, slightly under $1 for a full, for 4, 24 cents each, right? And this has the controversial pentagram. After this, I believe 4th edition is without this pentagram diagram behind. With the intro, same thing. Very well used old school card. It's in the disc control deck. So let's see. So the intro here is going to be 28 cents each, right? So a little bit over $1, and you get 4 of these, which are instrumental in a certain old school deck, right? So, and then 2 Will of the Wisp, the other 2 we already noticed. 4th edition, I got one for 167. I got the other one for 195. All right, so that's a rundown of the prices. Now, let's check condition a bit more. I'm going to put the Bat Moons up front. So the good thing is that everything should be near mint. I'm not even going to take the time to look at the back, even though I've always done, but I'm trying to keep my videos to a smaller time frame. And I always fail. I'm sure I fail again here, but I'm sure it'll be a lot better managed by just trying. So all of these definitely, they seem near mint. So I think I may have was burned before, but maybe this, by going with the TCG Direct sellers, it might be more, I might be getting better consistency. We'll see. But they look very, very good. They feel very good. They're very firm. So as I get each card, they're very smooth. So most of these are unplayed. So that batch there was very solid. I would say they were all near mint, maybe 1 or 2 maybe light play, but that's still pretty close enough in my book, especially when it's such a high volume of cheap cards. So a lot of these cards, either I wanted just to have them, like circle protections. I just wanted all of them, even though the most common ones are, you want to have them especially red, of course, but then black and green would be other ones. Blue probably never gets actually used. White, maybe rarely, but it's more possible. But nonetheless, I just wanted to have them, especially for this price. They're all under $1 for a full playset. Here we have the clones. I thought for a second the text was backward. Is it? No. So Control Magic, I remember I love this card. I think it's crazy that it's under $1 each. And I believe this was a rare, so. So control magic is better a lot of than a terror, destroying the creature, because it's card advantage. You got rid of their card, in play, and then you brought one card into play yourself, right? And of course, it took a card to achieve that, but nonetheless, it was still going to take a card to do a terror, right? But you don't get anything back from that. So as I put them back, I'm gonna, those evil presences kind of looked a little beat up, tiny bit on the back. Felon's Kings, I wanted to get actually for my Ernemonize deck. I have two versions of that. The format that allows for 4 strip mines is actually, it's very fun. And that I kind of tweaked them myself. So it's, that's why I'm more encouraged to play that one. Right, because I put my own touches to it, as opposed to just finding something that I liked online and just copying that. And it's that deck is basically, I mean, not basically, it is a land destruction deck. A normal Ernemonize deck is land disruption, where they'll target certain lands just to make it harder for the opponent to cast certain things. Like most players do not play mono colored decks. So if they're playing with white, that's probably a color you want to deny them. If they're playing blue, that's a color you want to deny them as well. Right, so basically, and a lot of times, basically, the card that they splashed. So let's say it's basically a mono green deck, but they splashed in blue for the power. They probably have over 10 sources of, I mean, they do have over 10 sources of green mana production. So you're not gonna stop them from casting their green stuff, but maybe you can stop them from casting their blue stuff. So it's more targeted, but the version I made is straight up land destruction. I literally want to get rid of every single land that they have. And then the Felon's Cane. And then after I built it and I have the 60 card deck, I realized, oh yeah, I remember there was a card that let me get all these cards back, because I'm doing that a lot in that deck. I have a recall and regrowth, and the recall especially is super powerful in that deck. I recall the land destruction, so I can cast it again. And normally I recall several of them, right? So that way I can destroy, like I said, I don't want to just disrupt their mana production. I want to completely eliminate it, or eliminate it as much as possible. So that way, even if it's a monocolored deck, it's still going to be hurting. But a lot of these other cards, they're mainly here either, not so much that I'm going to use them anytime soon. Like this one, I don't intend to make this control deck anytime soon, although I could. I got the 4 trolls. I got 2 Niveneros. That one is a bit more expensive, so but it's just, still cheap. But I just didn't feel the use of getting 4 of them. But I like having full playsets of stuff, because it gives me the option. I can, whenever I want, I can just go to my collection of cards and swap in and swap out the cards that I need for whatever I want to build in any particular time. All right, so those are the cards. Yeah, I think, especially once again, considering the price, I don't want to nitpick here because it's not worth it. Maybe on the more expensive cards for me, like that Send Your Vampire is still cheap, but still. Over 100 cards. And if it wasn't for those, let's see. So for that particular order of from the TCG player, that was $64. So basically $60 for, it said it was 98 cards. Most of these fit within that dollar, maybe sometimes slightly over a dollar, or sometimes it's 26 cents, 29 cents each, but basically you can round it to a dollar. Most of these, and then considering a lot of them are way under a dollar, and for four, like the COPs, a lot of them were 13, 14 cents each. So we can still round them up to a dollar for a full playset. There's most of these cards fit that description. If I were to take out the ones that don't, so let's see, clones 170 each, control magic 66 cents each, but still under a dollar each. Greed $1.06 each. Greed, one card of Greed was in the deck from Brian Weissman, and I'm very, very close to being able to make that deck. I need 4 Underground Seas, but considering I haven't been playing, so there's no rush. Plus, I'm kind of using this time to catch up with the finances, with just the cost that I've been applying, which is kind of why I did this, right? So this is a cheap way of me to still expand my old school collection, but it still allows me the finances available to pay off the other bills that I've accumulated. But so I'm in that frame of mind now of just paying things back before I continue on with Magic or with my other interests that I have. So just to continue that thought of which cards don't fit that $1 for a full playset frame. Mana shorts are from 227 to 270 each. Send Your Vampires 223 each. And then the two will o' the Wisp, $1.67 each. So that was, let's see, so 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, 22, 26. So 26 out of 98. So slightly over a fourth of these cards here are over a dollar each. But that means 3/4 full playset in near mint condition, old school compliant, are under a dollar for the full playset, sometimes way under a dollar. So just goes to show, and a lot of these cards, although they may be inexpensive, maybe the word cheap is the wrong word to use, they are still oftentimes either just very good staples, kind of like the COPs, they're staples, nothing to brag about, but they're strong cards, they get used. Paralyze, black staple, nothing to write home about, but same thing, Raise Dead. But some of these are fundamental to certain very powerful old school decks. ATOG, 4 of them in revised for under a dollar. And the other one I wanted to show. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Untitled, 4 of them for under $1 revised. My revised is just what, 2 years after alpha, a year and a half, right? So it's not that far off, right? So these cards are still very, very old cards, right? Just they don't get the price tag because they weren't first, right? Or second or third. They came in a bit after, a year or two after, but how many years has it been in total, right? So these are still very, very old cards, even 4th edition, right? So 4th edition is 1995. So revised must have been 1994. So then that's just a year, right? Because Magic started in 1993, I believe. Just that year and a half made it so that revised cards are, and of course the quantity revised was reprinted, not just reprinted, but reprinted to a much higher volume. So all those reasons makes them a lot cheaper, these revised cards, and same logic for 4th and so on. But these are still very, 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 very old cards, right? And I don't think it's, me personally, I'm perfectly fine using revised 4th edition. I use time shifted cards. You have to be careful with the format that you are playing in. Swedish is only Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and then the 4 Horsemen sets only. And then they have very slightly different banned and restricted lists than the other formats, but they are the strictest format. But that makes them also probably the less played format out of, or one of the less played formats out of the old school. Eternal Century and Atlantic get played a lot more often because of the generous reprint policy that they allow. So then revised gets used, 4th edition, anything with the rule is same art, same frame, and by the same frame doesn't have to be exactly the same, just similar enough where it still looks like super similar to the original frame of Alpha Beta. I believe it was maybe 8th or 10th edition, something like that, but by then the frame is totally different, leading more to today's frame, right? So that was the biggest change in frame around that time. So then that's when the frame rule would not be able to be followed, even if they reprinted a card with the same art, but by that point the frame is totally different anyway. Unless, of course, like I mentioned, the card is time shifted, things like that. But if not, those older sets that came after, it's just not compliant, right? So you just got to watch out. But there's still a lot of cards here, over 100 cards here. In that case, 98 cards, $60. If I took out that 1/4 that was over $1, it's probably, that would have been almost 70 something cards for what, $20, $30. So hopefully this was informative. You guys can see the value in these reprints. And me personally, I kind of started with that mindset of knowing that I could get a lot of these cards very cheaply. But even now, I'm still shocked. Even though I've been now into this for like half a year, I'm still surprised. ATOG for them under $1. Untitled, 4 of them under $1. I was in the first, I wanted to be in that, I had that mindset of me being able to get the cheapest possible, but while still being competitive. So I've since then, as you know, I've gotten Power 9 cards from collector's editions. So still trying to be economical here, but I've recently got in a library of Alexandria, right? So I'm definitely have broken the bank big time. But this is, those are still one off, right? The boxes, you can only have one of each. Those kind of cards make your deck overpowered, definitely, but it's not going to win the game, right? You still have to have a strategy. Those cards ramp up your strategy. Maxes makes your strategy stronger because you can play whatever you were going to play quicker. It shores up your mana base more and faster. You can draw more cards cheaply, so that way you can get to the cards that you need for the game plan that you had. But you still have to have a game plan outside of Mox's, Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, right? They just help you with your game plan, right? But still, what's the game plan? ATOG, a whole bunch of artifacts, Woven Troll, Neveneral Stis, right? These are the cards that are actually going to win the game. The other ones help you win the game, but you're not going to kill your opponent with a Mox. You're going to kill them with this. And right, so I'm definitely guilty of this, just undervaluing the strength and power that's still there at such a cheap price. So hopefully I've opened some eyes while I open my own as well. And I'll leave the video up to here for today. Thank you.